Good morning everyone and welcome to a new video. Today something a little bit different. I'm just going to talk to you about I was going to make a video showing how to set an extra transducer, particularly a Livescope, onto your trolling motor at the front, your bow mount motor, but because on some of the motors like the powerdrive and the Terranova, the shaft has to slide through the motor box for the rotation of the engine, so putting transducer on the main engine, it's really difficult because you can't tape it onto the shaft of the engine like a more expensive minn kota that will deploy without sliding through that motor case. So but then I'm starting to touch on the subject of Livescope, and at the moment it's kind of a yeah, again, it's every time there's something new coming into the fishing world, there's a big polemic and people are against, in favor, or whatever. It seems like a lot of people are upset about it. I don't know why myself. So basically, I'm just going to give you my view on the Livescope, what I think, and after you can think what you want. And I'm going to show you after as well the first thing that I had in my video. The first thing in mind is how I set the transducer onto the minn kota with that motor box in the middle. So live scoping, funny enough, I remember, because I'm that old, when 2D sonars came up first. I remember the first 2D sonar I've ever saw. I was like a kid, and it was actually like something that records earthquake in my mind, or a heartbeat, or a lie detector test. You had a needle and an ink, and I couldn't understand anything. It was just showing the depth by drawing it on a piece of paper. That's how it all started, I guess. But when the first 2D sonars start to get more and more popular and more affordable by the average Joe angler, a lot of people started being, and I see exactly the same thing with Livescope, for and against. How it's cheating, it's not fishing, and but now everybody has a 2D sonar. Everybody has the side scan. Side scan as well was a little bit iffy when it came up first. Side imaging, and now everybody has side imaging. And I think Livescope, it's just gonna catch on and go that way. Now, for the people who are against it, I understand, and most of them, I think it's just because they've never seen a Livescope being used. They think we just go around the lake and see a big fish and target it. You have to be very lucky to do that. With the conditions here, with always windy, it's very difficult to see a fish and follow it with the Livescope. The boat is moving, it's drifting, it's really not easy because the cone that you're seeing in front of you, it's not that big. I kind of compare that to trying to chase a deer in a forest at night with a flashlight. Basically, it's about the same. The way I use the Livescope, first I go around and find the fish on my normal 2D sonar side imaging. That's the first one I use. When I located fish, and I'm talking bait fish, I'm not talking individual pike. When I'm locating fish, I go on top and then I pass in front of the boat and I go with the Livescope. Now the Livescope helps because many times I don't even see the pike. I see my lure, but the pike is coming, it's not following in the same cone of the transducer. So that pike usually comes from the side like this, and what happens is that you just see your lure in the middle of the bait or just above the bait fish, and all of a sudden the bait fish scatter and that pike is coming in. Now it's super exciting. It's yeah, it's fun. Some people like the not knowing, but once you start knowing, I don't know, that's again personal. Yeah, it's super cool. But the main thing is that you can see the reaction of the fish, and you learn so much by seeing how the fish reacts, how the baits react to the pike, how the pike moves through the bait. Sometimes the bait is not moving, the time it's spooking, so maybe they're hunting. So you learn a ton with the Livescope, and that's the main purpose for me to have that Livescope, is that especially from somebody that's coming into the fishing, it's going to cut you maybe 10-15 years of work. It's that shortcut that you're going to take with the Livescope, because you can see the reaction of the pike, you can change the retrieve, you can change the lure. So on a day, And again, you're not chasing that specific pike with the Livescope. Well, I'm not. Maybe some people who use perspective mode, that fish with dead bait, and they put the dead bait over the top of a pike, might do that. But this is not me. I just not enjoy that. So yeah, that's what I do with the Livescope. Mostly to learn and see the reaction of the fish, and to know on the day, are they slow? Are they coming from the bottom? Are they really hot to hit the lure? Are they really stingy and they're just following? And maybe I need a bit more finesse in my presentation. Maybe I need to downsize. So this is cutting a lot of work in a day's fishing when you see that first in the morning. That puts you on the right track. Again, shortcut. So that's my view on the Livescope. So like it or not, I don't know, put it in the comment section below, but I felt I had to give my view on the Livescope because yeah, now you know where I stand. So now coming back to the video, how to install the Livescope on especially on the powerdrive and the Terranova. The problem of this engine is that the shaft slides through the rotation box for changing the direction of your engine. It's not, again, like the more expensive one where they deployed like this and the shaft goes down and you can tape your transducer all along the shaft. Now we have a problem with this, is that that shaft sliding through that box, you can't tape on it. Another thing, the Livescope wire, it's a thick wire, and it's, from what I understand, because the Garmin really do not recommend using zip tie with it, because you do not want to stress that cable. It's fairly important to keep it in the best nick possible. So electrical tape when you do anything like that, but the problem is you have a big floppy wire, and in the middle you have the propeller, and then if you put on spot lock, that engine might do 360, maybe more sometimes, rotation. So you need a bit of a loose wire as well. So a loose wire with a prop that's dangling about, it's fairly dangerous, and it can become very costly. So I've scoured YouTube for the last month to see the best solution, and I've tried them all. I've tried air hose, I've tried garden hose, I've tried rod sock, and the best, and I'm doing this, I don't want to do a whole how to do it, because there's quite a few videos on YouTube already on that, but I just wanted to show you it's very easy to see, and the best solution. And I cut you time because there's a ton of different guys that will tell you this and that, and the best one is the bike lock, the coiled metal bike lock. It's super resistant. The coil does not lose its memory, which I found with the air hose might lose memory after being stretched quite a few times, especially if it's a hot day. That plastic is going to get a little bit softer, so you're not going to get that spring coil, which is important, because when you bring back the engine onto the boat, you need the coil to squeeze back, to compress back, and to bring the wire with it. So as you can see, the transducer for the Livescope is mounted on the side of the engine. Now I'm going to slide the engine down, and you can see that the coil, the bike lock, the coil, I have the transducer cable taped all the way along. So when I drop the engine, we just have that coil that extends. That coil extends. It's fairly loose and springy. You have no risk of catching into the propeller and then cutting the wire or damaging the wire. Now all I had to do, I had to drill a tiny little hole here to accommodate a split ring and a carabiner, and to that it's the bike lock with the wire of the transducer going all the way, and clipped here again with another carabiner, and that wire then goes to the head unit. Very simple, nothing too difficult. Now the good thing is that when you're going to bring back that cable on board, you want that spring to work and not catch the cable, especially in that little latch there, because again, you do not want to pinch that wire. That's quite important with the Livescope. So you bring it back, and now you can see that coil just goes back into place, and then you can lock it. this is the best solution I found, definitely. So cut yourself some time if you have an old power drive, or you don't need to buy a brand new electric motor just to accommodate a Livescope transducer on your engine. Just do it that way and it's fantastic. It works every time. So yeah, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye.
Hey yo, Jay, can we get some ratchet one time?
Look, I don't wanna talk. How you try and press the kid and really you was soft. All you know is capping, homie, you don't know the law. Pedal to the metal, you ain't catching me in park. I just hit the stop, I don't wanna speak. Talking all that good, so I just hit you with the please. Running up the score like Tyreek, I'm going deep. Watch me how I'm saucing, I be spreading it with ease. You gon' see the peace, you gon' see the flex when you hear these writtens. Trust me, you know the difference. I got a long ways to climb before you see a slippage. I see the process and the journey I'm supposed to be, but perplexed, cause I don't really see nobody close to me. Hopefully this ain't wasted and I know it ain't. You gotta take the time for seasoning to marinate. You need the patience and the pressure just to detonate. I'm trying to blow up and these heathens need to get it straight. Gifted with a vision and precision, I'm just trying to make it high key. Might be breaking free like I was Zion in some Nikes. Tucked at the crib, bro, you know just where to find me. Making beats and spitting crack verses pretty likely. Yeah, socks with the Berks, boy, I ain't changed a bit. Normal guy till I die, you know what it is. You probably thought I'd give up now that I got some kids.